Why I am so proud to be a single mother. Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Jameelah. I am a master manifester, and I'm sure you are too because you are watching and consuming and enjoying content like this. The name of this lovely channel is Holistic Manifesting because I believe in whole body, whole mind, and whole being experience when it comes to manifesting these amazing lives that we choose. What I'm discussing in this video is why I am proud to be a single mother, right? And a lot of people will be like, proud? How can you find pride in that? Single mom, that's like the least desired state of affairs to be in for a mother. You should always want to be, in a traditional family setting, right? I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think being in a traditional family setting is the choice of most women. That would be the desire of most women in any condition, right? But whether or not it plays out, we already know that that's just not the case, right? We have like a 50% divorce rate in this country. So we already know that there's a ton of mothers who are out here raising children, co-parenting, or possibly raising children completely alone. We already know this is the case. And so my thought process would be, why would anybody think that all of these women with children who are raising them by themselves should want to throw themselves off the bridge somewhere because they don't have a specific lifestyle that somebody else says is the only one that you should be wanting when it comes to raising your children and creating something for yourself, right? I remember being divorced early on, and I remember going into different environments to where I was kind of like the only person that was a single mom, and it was very, very common. I remember when I had my daughters in ballet when they were really young, and I was the only person there who was a single mom, because literally single moms didn't have $300 a month disposable income for each child to go to some ballet lessons, right? That wasn't a common thing. So you just didn't see it very often. And so when people would have a conversation, they would discuss it, and I would say, oh no, I'm divorced or whatever. And they go, oh, well, I guess their girls are okay. They seem to be adjusting just fine. And it would always be this, oh, I remember it like it was yesterday. And I was thinking like, with a person like me that has the mindset that I do and the way that I've always seen myself as, a high achiever, a higher level thinker, like I've always seen myself in certain ways, and to have somebody look at you and go, oh, you're like, oh, ma'am, no. You will not be giving me your pity. I take your pity and I throw it right back at you. And so I remember that feeling, and this was a while ago, I have to say around 32 or whatever, right? So more than a decade ago. I was in that mindset of just like, you think that's what this is? I'm about to show you. And I don't do anything to show anybody anything anymore to any degree, right? But in the beginning, I remember a long time ago, my brother was telling me, he's like, it's really good motivation in the beginning is to be like, hey, I'm doing this for my haters. But at some point, you got to be doing it for yourself. You got to be doing it for a bigger reason to help people, inspire people, give something back, right? But in the beginning, it's really good motivation when somebody's like, huh, what? I had them in all the shows, both children. All the hair and makeup. They said anything extra. We selling hair bows today for the event. We're buying 2 of those. You got extra ones? Give me 4. I was all in and they would look at me and be perplexed and puzzled and all that kind of stuff. Cause I'm just like, everybody who's raising kids by themselves are not suffering. You got to get out of that mindset. Some of us are master manifestors. Some of us are high achievers, making things happen in our lives. We're creating the abundance that we want to live, right? Some of us are doing that. And I think that message that was out there all the time is what really made me want to stay away from the topic, the label of single mother. I remember even writing a blog when I used to write blogs when I was on Facebook a long time ago. And one of my weekly blogs was called Single-motherhood with a question mark, because somebody had referred to me as like, I was at some event or whatever. I think it was soccer. And one of the parents was like, oh, she's a single mom. Or whatever. I was like, single mom? Who? What? And because it has such a negative connotation, and I had no idea that out of all the things that I was and I shared and all the ways that I showed up, that is the number one way that someone was choosing to describe me. And so that really bothered me in a negative way. I was just like, single, oh, she's a single mom, you might ask her. And I'm just like, you don't get to. And for me, it was like a slur. And so now these days, I just dive into it. I nestle myself into the beauty of being a single mother, because it is the creator of everything. It is the reason why I am such a magnificent co-creator and why I'm such a magnificent master manifester. It is because of that journey. And so I wanted to get away from that term in any sense of it, because I felt like it was something that people said about you when they put you on a lower level, right? And the looks and the response and the feedback I got from it was not good. But now these days, I don't really let other people's perspective on who I am dictate how I feel about myself. So I deeply and happily and joyfully bask in the title of single mother, because single motherhood is what makes you a warrior. It's what made me a beast at conquering and getting things and doing things and being the best version of myself. Every time I looked at those kids and I'm just like, hey, it looks like I'm all they got. It looks like I'm the number one ally. It looks like I'm the only one that's going to stop these generational patterns or generational curses from continuing on. It looks like it's all on me. So that means I'm like, hey, coach, put me in. I can do it. And that was the mindset all the time. So the reason why I bask in it and I love it so much, and why I've come so far from distancing myself from that name to even having now a book that has single mother on the cover, a single mother's guide, like that's a far feat, is because I realized that because it was something out of the norm for so many people, that limitation that they had has been convincing so many women for so many years that what they are giving and what they have is less than, because they don't, because they don't have the husband in the household, period, right? And because of this mindset, it's like when people say representation matters, right? Because of this mindset, so many women just dive into the idea like, I'm never going to have a good life. I don't have enough money. Children are expensive. I'm poor. I'm broke. I can't experience all these things because I'm a single mom. But it's just another way. It's just another path to victimhood. It's just another path to victimhood. There's no circumstance or situation that we can have in our life where we still can't say, I'm going to be something great. I'm going to create something great. I'm going to do something great. I'm going to have something great. I'm going to be something great. And I'm going to inspire and motivate others to do the same thing. There's no situations like that. And being a mother without the support in the household is no different. It's no different. And what happens is you get in these spaces to where there are certain types of men who want you to believe that, because that's where they derive their value from. They derive their value from putting women down who show up for their children in a way that the counterpart that they made the kid with hasn't showed up for the kids. They take this as a personal offense. And they want to tell you that because you were not able to have that husband in a household or have that co-parent or whatever, that deep support, that you're somehow the negative asset. You're somehow the person that's the liability, when really you're all the kids have. You're the only value that the kids really have to be something great. And for a lot of environments and certain men and environments, when they see this, it makes them feel less than, because they realize, hey, this woman can do all of this and she doesn't even have this male counterpart. I know, and I'm getting vulnerable with this because this is how important I think it is. I'm very clear. I'm very sure that my ex-husband thought pulling back his support was going to impact me negatively. And I'm sorry. I'm like, you didn't know who you married if you think that. You didn't know. And all you did was create a wedge between you and your relationships. I have great relationships with my beautiful daughters, great ones. And so what I'm saying is that is a quality that was, and I'm choosing my words carefully with this. That was a quality that was given to me through being a single mother, through navigating this whole entire thing. Like, who can assist? What kind of community do I need to build? What kind of environments do I need to create for these children? How can I minimize our life in a way that I don't need as much money right now to do things because I don't have as much money, but still give them a good experience, right? That maneuvering, that cleverness, that navigation, that mindset, if you dive into understanding that instead of always trying to be saved to some degree, you will become unstoppable. And I've met women, some of them don't want that. They don't want to become unstoppable because they want somebody else to be responsible for their lives. But I'm like, you got these children. You're responsible for their life. You can't raise these children and have a mindset of you're going to get the short end of the stick because your dad's not involved. That's not fair. We have it in us to do more. We have it in us to give more. And once we get out of the mindset that somebody else was supposed to help, and I will tell you, I've been in so many environments with other mothers and stuff like that and having conversations. And that conversation about married single mother is real because I was one of them first before I was a single mother altogether. Their mindset was completely different. Like they were sunken and bogged down by the duties that they were required to give every single day. And I was like, I do that and I work 2 jobs. I do even more. And I feel at peace and I feel easy and I feel light, right? And it's because I let go of the idea that somebody was supposed to be helping me a long time ago. And that's not to say that I didn't have moments to where it hit me once a year and I'm like, God dog it. Been doing all this stuff, but I wasn't going to be trying to squeeze blood from a turnip, as my mom once said when I was going on when my children were really young about child support. And she was like, seems to me you trying to squeeze blood out of a turnip. And that means trying to get something that somebody ain't willing to give you or that they really just don't have, right? And I was like, well, then I don't give my attention to things that aren't growing and that aren't expanding. So I refocused. I was like, well, I'm not focusing over there because that's not going to help. He's not doing nothing. I was like, let me focus over here. How can I expand and grow this thing and make this thing something? And then that's when you can truly give them the emotional support that they need. That's when you can truly give them the environments that you want to experience, like the level of interaction and intimacy. And that's when you truly grow. Like there are parts of me that I didn't clearly see until I became a mother who everything was all on, right? And when I saw certain characteristics and behaviors in my daughters, I was like, oh no, you got to fix that. You got to fix that. You got to fix it because they're looking right at you, picking up that thing. And I always feel like the reason I had so much time and energy and attention to give to it is because I had the freedom. Like, I didn't owe anything to anybody at the end of the day, but the children. And having that mindset, it's like, if you're not coming to help these children and me push them to the next level because my lineage and my generational expansion is what's most important to me. This is a job. This earth experience is a job for me, right? Inspiring and motivating other people. It's a job. My children, it's a job, right? But it's also emotional support and nurturing and loving and cuddling and all that good stuff because that's fun, but it's still a job. If you're not coming to do that, then you're in the way. And I don't care if you're the other parent, if you're not coming to do that and it's all about you, then you're in the way. And so because I ran into people that were in the way, it gave me 100%, like I could focus all my attention on what do they need. And the thing about it is once I was able to give them what they needed, most days there was plenty more energy for me. Even right now, I'm sitting here and I'm about to make about 4 to 5 videos back to back. I've already cooked the dinner that they're going to eat for the next 3 days, right? And I'm meal prepping them in packages, right? And then I'm going to go and get some work done, right? And then I'm going to go feed this little cat that my daughter convinced me that we needed and give it some water and clean out its little area. And then I'm going to go ahead and do some writing because I'm working on some other project. And then I'm going to go ahead and get my 10,000 steps in. And then I'm going to go ahead and make something healthy for myself to eat and run some errands, maybe go to Whole Foods to pick up a few things that I only buy from there. And then when it's time for them to get out of school, guess what? I'm like, how was your day? What happened with you? Oh my God. And they just do their little dump on me on the way home, right? And it's like a 10-minute ride. And I have all of this attention and energy to give to them because I didn't let anybody hold me up. I didn't let anybody come around and tell me that somehow being a single mother was so bad that I need to settle for any kind of relationship people had to offer. It's like, no. The Creator is where all the blessings really come from anyway. Don't let me get started there. The resources come from the Creator. It's very nice to receive them through loving relationships and connections. It's very nice to receive support through loving relationships and connections. I love it that way. Like, I wouldn't want to, like, I love saying, oh, I feel so loved, but receiving the love through my daughters is like, oh, I feel so loved. It's really nice, right? But that doesn't mean that if I didn't have them, I wouldn't be able to feel love anyway, right? So it's the same thing in relationships. You got to remember that your true source is not those people that are trying to hold back things and nitpick you and breadcrumb you and all that kind of stuff. Your true source is the Creator. If you can get in alignment with the Creator and learn to co-create and be and tap into that source energy on a regular basis, you won't find yourself being desperate to bring anybody in around just because they can help you with a few bills or pay this or pay that. It won't be of any value. It will only be of value if they are of value. You know, like what people bring to me is like, I don't care about what people give and little gifts and trinkets and all that kind of stuff. If they are not of value, if they're not offering these real commitment and a good mindset and a quality connection, if they're not, you know, being mischievous in some way, you know, some people have those mischievous energies. If they're not doing all that, it's like, then I don't care what they get me. I don't care about none of that kind of stuff. And I think people know that when they come in contact with you, so they don't waste their time. They know already. It's like, this woman's not playing any games with, you know, being glossed over with, you know, shiny things and look this way while I go do this. No, that stuff will only matter when it's coming from the right direction. And you'll know that, hey, this, what this person is given to me is coming through them from the Creator, because they are also in alignment with the Creator, right? So that's why I love being a single mom so much, because it's something that I used to look at in a certain way, because it's something that I didn't want. I was hardcore serious about being married. I didn't take no for an answer. I was like, I'm not moving further with this relationship. I'm not doing nothing. Got to be married. I got to create this 2-parent home. And I tried it, and what I chose did not work out. And so from there, I was just like, well, I got to be a boss. I got to be a beast. Right? But I also got to be a mommy. I got to be loving. I got to be kind. I got to be nurturing. I got to be caring. And in order to do that, I can't have anybody around me who's going to create a deficit. And if the father of the kids is creating a deficit, you got to go to. If the new relationship is creating a deficit, you got to go to, right? My single motherhood has taught me to be extremely discerning, because I'm like, if I don't want to see my daughters with it, I'm not doing it either. If I don't want to see them struggle with this behavior, I'm not going to struggle with it either. If I want them to see their value, I'm going to make sure I'm showing them I see my value too. Anyway, why I love being a single mom. And don't forget my new book. I don't want to be one of those people that keep plugging books, but I'm going to be one of those people because I love this one. You know, Thriving Solo. A Single Mother's Guide to Manifesting Strength, Success, and Happiness. And I tell a lot of these stories in ways that I was able to, you know, overcome so many obstacles and hurdles when it came to being the one, you know, and the community that I had to create at different times to make sure that I was not depleting myself, and that I was able to share some responsibilities and delegate things, and how it's okay when people don't do things just the way that you do it. Get the help, you know. And I have seen, you know, it's good. I enjoy writing this a lot, because this is something that's very dear to me, being a parent. And while there's so many other parts of me, infinitely other parts of me, right? One of my favorite parts is being a mother. And I think I expressed that in so many videos, right? So it's available on Amazon now. And this is the only book I've ever written and put Dr. Jameelah Raouf on it, because that's also something that I've not dove completely into, because I'm like, yeah, you accomplished that, but then so what? And just move on. No, it was huge. It was big. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of time and energy. It up-leveled my career in a way that not having it didn't. And so I want to just bask in that. And one of my mentors noticed that when she was sharing the book, when we were in a group yesterday, it's a woman's group that I'm a part of. She was just like, and I'll be honest with you, I'm very happy about this book for her. And guess what? It was written by Dr. Jameelah Raouf. And she was like, I'm so proud of her for using that. And I appreciate that. So anyway, A Single Mother's Guide. And here's the thing, I'm talking about single motherhood, but this is about master manifesting. Anybody can see the greatness in this particular book. Anybody can glean something from this book. Single mother or not, you know what I mean? mothers in general not even being a mom, somebody who's thinking about being a mom, somebody who's like, I'm child free, I'm never going to have kids, you can glean something from the grit that it takes to create and positive attitude that you need to keep along the way, and that your life is not over because you have kids now, right? You don't have to just bring somebody in your household that may not be good for your household just to have a complete unit and make some pictures on social media, you know? You don't have to do all that. Anyway, I hope y'all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day.